What is up, everybody? How we doing tonight? It's Monday Night Fishing live. All right. We got a poll question up tonight. We'll get into it here. We'll give people a few seconds to get on, say hello. I was gardening. If you see anything on me, I was gardening the other day. My elderly neighbor, I weeded out all of her flower beds. And I think I must have grabbed a hold of something that was prickly because I've got a rash on my hand, behind my neck, and a couple other spots that are driving me a little crazy. So I went and got some calamine lotion or whatever you want to call it, and put a little of that on. So I feel better now. And I couldn't figure out. I took Benadryl the last 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. I couldn't figure out why I was so tired. I didn't know. I've never really taken Benadryl before. I've never had an allergic reaction to anything. But yesterday, it knocked me out big time. I didn't know why until I asked the pharmacist today about, what's the best over-the-counter, calamine type hydrocortisone lotion. And she points it out, and then she goes, you should also take Benadryl too. And I go, okay, which one? And she points that out. She goes, but be careful, it'll make you drowsy. And I go, I had no idea. Now I know. So I'm not going to take it till I go to bed. But yeah, I don't know what I got into. I got some of it on my arm right here. Like I say, it's pretty bad behind my ear and the back of my neck. I just gotta not think about it. I guess that's my only really recourse here. What's up, Merlin, Aaron, John, Keith, Don Terry, Keith Horns? Happy belated birthday, my friend. I put a poll question up. What's everybody's opinion on the walleye opener? This is our second year now with it. Paul Messina from Florida on vacation. Nice to see you, my friend. We have the Derby on the first weekend like it used to always be, but how many people will actually get out and fish opening day? This year's a Wednesday. Just curious, some people, their work schedule is such they can jostle it around. I'll tell you, I woke up this morning on Monday morning and I finished all of the sheetrock work I was doing in the project I'm on. And so today I got everything sanded out over the weekend. And today I started priming and sealing all the new sheetrock. And I woke up this morning and it's beautiful, sunny skies out, light wind. It was light and variable out of the west northwest all day today. And I was thinking to myself, nothing like sticking it to the guy that works all week, Mother Nature. It blew and was cold and wet and windy all weekend long. And, the guy waits all week, Monday through Friday, working to get out on Saturday morning or Sunday morning or both. And the weather sucks. I haven't looked forward. We're too far out still to look ahead to what it's going to be for Walleye Fest weekend. I assume it's going to be beautiful weather, like always. Paul Messina, that wasn't Paul, that was his son Sam. I'm Sam with my dad. He's playing cornhole, so bye. Just want to pop in and say hi. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, Merlin says, I like all openers on Saturday for myself, but for the pressure on the fish, it's better. I assume he means to open during the week. Meanwhile, back at the ranch dressing, let us discuss Walleye Fest. All right, Bob, let's discuss Walleye Fest. There was a big to-do on Facebook last night with people up in arms over some questions that they had, and they decided to put it out on Facebook as opposed to asking me, but doesn't matter. I found out about it and I went on and answered the questions as best I could. Um, so let's start from the beginning. All right. I have never once ever said that Walleye Fest is any sort of a not for profit, and that we're donating 100% of all proceeds and all monies to anything or anyone. We are a for-profit organization. I have 3 partners. There are 4 of us that are formed Walleye Fest LLC. We all have our different strengths that we contribute to this success, and we took over something that was dead, and we bought it and brought it back to life in our image. So if I've ever given anyone the wrong impression that we are a not-for-profit, then I'm sorry, but that's not the case. We are a for-profit organization. The amount of time and effort and money that myself and all of my partners put into this every year, absolutely correct that we look to make some money off of it. That's part of the reason why you do anything. We run an event, no different than if you went to Wing Fest or Harbor Fest or any of the other, or Taste of Syracuse. They're an event. Okay. And I'm not the Lions Club. The Lions Club is a charitable organization, and that's all they do. And they stopped doing it. Matter of fact, they stopped doing it twice. I resurrected this derby years ago when I was at Gander Mountain when we first opened, and they were closing the doors then on it because it was too much for them to do. And that says a lot, because this is an enormous amount of work to pull off. Last year it was 1,400 anglers. I don't know how many we're going to have this year, but I spend 60 hours a week minimum, over and above everything else I do, working on just Walleye Fest. And so for the people that keep asking me, where's all the money going, and you're making too much money and yada, yada, yada. Well, that's the point, is to make money in anything you do. And I can't honestly say that I can't think of anybody that would do this job like I've done for nothing. And then some people say, oh, well, yeah, you should make something, but just not too much, because they're somehow the voice that says what's right or what's wrong. And from last year to this year, I expanded things because I took in all of the feedback that I got from our participants last year, and things that people said to me, and stuff that they would like to see. And I spent a lot of time trying to create this new derby, and I'm very proud of it. And I stand by it 100%. And I made everything optional, so no one feels like they're locked into something, or they have to, it's going to cost them a lot of money. And matter of fact, I didn't go with a third-party app to do the virtual portion of the weigh-ins of the measuring stations, because those third parties charge a percentage of each thing you buy. And so it's an added expense. And I didn't want to do that with the anglers. So we kept our price the same. We're absorbing it. We went and hired a design firm to design our own back of the house to do all of this virtually. And again, maybe you all don't need to know this, but I'm being called out and questioned publicly, and I'm human. I don't like it. People have questions. I'm all about it. And matter of fact, I've reviewed some of those comments today multiple times to make sure that I address them directly. But again, I will say, Walleye Fest has never said that it's a not-for-profit organization, because we're not. We did a festival last year. We organized all that. We charged people to be vendors. That's all part of the experience. This year, we still have entertainment, food, venues, um, everything that goes along, the expenses, insurance, lie detector, you name it. I mean, the expenses, and we're in the biggest recession and period of inflation in our recent history. So everything costs money, period. And again, I don't expect anybody to know that. And I would have never said anything about it had I not been called out on it. Okay. So, but here again, I believe in what I'm doing, and I'm going to continue to do what I believe in, and what I believe is bringing the best product to my anglers that are here and want to fish this lake. You know, and I made sure that Walleye Fest opened its arms as wide as we could to bring in as many people to our wonderful lake and our experience as we could. And if some of those are new people, or if that means we went a little bit out of the norm, then I'm okay with that. And if you're not, I respect that, which is why I made everything else optional. If you only want the Derby the way it used to be, you know, again, I listened to people. We thought that as a group of my partners, we thought that people didn't really, you know, care about those last 15 places. Turns out you did. So I switched it back to 25 places like it always has been. No problem whatsoever. We wanted to make the prize money, the individual prizes, larger for those 10 places, but people said, no, we'd rather have it 25. Hey, no problem. Switched it right back to 25. Some things you ask your customer about. Some things you just have to try and see if it works. And I don't know if this is going to work. And I don't know that I'm the absolute savant of Derby, you know, promotion. I don't. I'm doing the things that I think that people are going to enjoy. Now, what I have found out in this last week or two, certainly in the last day, and this morning even, it really hit me. It doesn't matter what it is, you can't make everybody happy. Now, I will tell you that I went into this naively. My wife thinks I'm naive. I have friends of mine that think I'm a little naive. Okay. I went into it thinking everybody was going to love this in what I did and how I did it. And I really believed in my heart of hearts that it was going to just be fanfare from day one. Now, that didn't happen. And in the world we live in, and even in the old days, that never happened. And I have to realize that. I have to internalize that and say, Matt, you shouldn't have expected unilateral support for anything, let alone this, which is different. I understand that. So I had to work my way through that. And today, it's funny. I put up a post the other day. I wasn't the only one, but I put up a post the other day because one of my good friends is opening a second restaurant. And he's over the moon excited. And I shared the post, but then I saw the post on another site, and you had people bad mouthing it and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, we don't need this or we don't want that. Listen, I served in the United States military, and I raised my right hand to uphold the Constitution. And one thing in the Constitution is freedom of speech. And the people that want to run me down or badmouth me, I support your right to do it, because this is a free country and you have free speech and you can say whatever you want to say. Right? Period. End of story. Now, I can respond to your questions with truth and honesty and transparency. And I'm not trying to call people out. I won't say anybody by name. But just because you say something first doesn't mean that it's real. or true or even remotely correct. All right. And too much in this world, we get that. We just got to get that first sound bite out. If you go watch any of the news channels, they make a living at that 24/7. And I don't care what news channel it is. They just got to say it first. It doesn't matter if it's real or true. They just got to say it first. Doesn't matter how lacking in factual basis it is. Okay. So I already addressed that Walleye Fest is a for-profit organization. And yes, a portion of the proceeds go to us. That's what we're doing. And it's not just a portion. And I'm going to read you. And I had people say, oh, well, it's not clearly posted on the website. No, yes, it is. 1,000%, yes, it is. And so when you look at, I can never get this right. Well, I can't show you a screen on a screen. It's the Walleye Fest leaderboard menu, and it's on the homepage of the website. Okay. And it clearly states up in yellow by number 1, which is the main leaderboard, pays 25 guaranteed places. For every 1,000 tickets sold, $12,500 in prize money is what goes to that 25 people. All right. If we have 2,000, then there's going to be $25,000 in there. So for every 1,000, it's 12.5. Okay. Last year it was 9 because last year I went off of the Lions Club old format exactly. And it was like $8,900. And we bumped it up a few hundred to make some things even because there were some weird numbers and I don't want to give people change and stuff like that. So they were giving out 40-some%. And I'm not saying anything about that because they were a charitable organization. So we immediately bumped that up to 50% this year. So 50% right off the bat is going just to prize money, okay? Which states clearly and has been since before tickets were sold. Directly below that in green, it says optional leaderboards. Each optional leaderboard pays out 60% of the entry fees. So that's a 60-40 split. The anglers for each optional leaderboard split up 60% of the total that leaderboard brought in. Each leaderboard is separate, okay? And I'm going to go through, I'll give you the numbers that I just got today before I went on. But at the bottom of that, it says the optional leaderboard's payout schedule. 0 to 500 participants in a specific board pays out 2 places. 501 to 1,000 pays out 5 places. 1,001 to 2,000, and that's entries in an individual optional leaderboard, pays out 8 places. And if there's 2,001 or more in an optional leaderboard, it pays out a full 10 places. Okay. Now, people have said, what's the breakdown? What's the amount? I don't know the amount. I don't know the dollar amount until we sell tickets, until we've sold all the tickets. So Friday night, I'll start having that all calculated. And then at midnight, I'll post it on the website what the actual dollar value is for each place in each board broken down. But we don't know that until at midnight, Friday night, when ticket sales close. If I did pre-sale only and sold it the whole month of March or whatever, or up until April 15th or whatever the case would be, then people could know what that is. But there's no way I can tell you a dollar amount. No way I can tell you a dollar amount until we stop selling tickets. Okay. And so then, my partner has it. I don't have it with me. The 25 places, what the percentage that each pace plays out all the way down through, adding up to a total of 50. Same with, the only one I know offhand is if an optional leaderboard's only paying 2 places, it's 70-30. So that's the only one I know off the top of my head. But the fact is that all that will be broken down as soon as we know what each one brought in for revenue. Okay. And so everybody keeps screaming, well, what's the payouts? Well, the payout is clearly laid out for you right on the homepage of the website. Now, if you're asking me for dollar amounts, I don't know that. And again, the Lions Club used to do it, and they would have first place equals, and they had based on 1,000 tickets at whatever the dollar amount was, and that's what they posted in advance, and then hope that they hit 1,000. If they went more than 1,000, the payouts didn't change. It stayed just there. What I did last year was we were at like 1,300 for adults, and so we prorated. So it was, let's say it was $9,000, and we went and took 30% more of it and added it to, because we didn't have another full 1,000, And so this year it's based on 1,000. We're going to give out $12,500 in the main leaderboard. That's just in the main leaderboard. Each leaderboard is its own pool of money for the payout. They don't combine. Everything is individual. And so if you're in a leaderboard that's got 502 people in it, then there's going to be 5 places payout. If you're in a leaderboard that's got 499, there's only 2 places that are being paid out. And what that is accordingly is simple math. You can look and see, okay, there's X number times whatever the cost for the leaderboard is, divided by 6, or 0.6, and there's your 60%, and you can figure out exactly what's going on. I also had somebody yesterday make a comment about the leaderboard that we're donating our proceeds, the Walleye Fest proceeds, which is board number 5, the first responders board. So board number 5 is 60% winnings go to the angler and 40% go to Walleye Fest. That 40% that we bring in from that leaderboard, we are donating to the PBA fund for the 2 fallen officers, period. I said that before in the video, and I was called out on it last night by someone who either didn't watch or didn't pay attention or didn't listen. I don't know which it is, but I'll said it the other day, and I'll say it again. What we make, I'll answer your question in a second, Scott. What we make off of board number 5, our proceeds, the Walleye Fest proceeds, not the total proceeds, because that winner that's his money, or the winners or whoever makes that out. We are donating our portion of that. If we decide to do more than that, or depending on how many people are in it, I don't know. But that's up to us. And we're under no obligation to donate to anything for anybody. Last year we donated substantially to the Lions Club as a thank you for all they had all done and as a tribute to them. This year we're going to donate to this, and this year for that number 5 board for the first responders, I've named that in memorial of those 2 gentlemen, and that will continue that way as long as there's a Walleye Fest, as long as I'm doing it. And every year we will donate our proceeds from that board to that fund for those 2 families that lost their officer on Sunday night. Another thing that was brought up yesterday in all of these comments was someone wanted to know why we didn't give out all of the added prizes last year that we had. If anybody was at the weigh-in last year at the award ceremony, it started raining on us right at the very end, and we were scrambling to get everybody in and pictures and get all that stuff handed out. My partner was there on the stage with me. My wife was there, and we had 3 other people running back and forth, getting prizes and giving all the prizes out. I don't know what prizes this person was referring to, because I gave out everything we had. And as a matter of fact, one of our key sponsors, Dakota Lithium, came up during the awards ceremony and gave us additional prizes that we gave out as well. So I don't really know what basis they said that on. Maybe they were just trying to throw another thing against the wall and see if it stuck. And I got the feeling too that people keep trying to trip me up in something. Listen, I'm not a carpetbagger, I'm not a charlatan, and I'm not a snake oil salesman. You know, I run a derby, I run a business. I live in this community. I've lived here all my life. I've had another business here that went under. I still live here. I hold my head up high. I have no regrets of anything I've ever done. Um, Last year's derby went off without a hitch. We gave out more in prizes. We gave out 5 lifetime licenses to kids that we never even thought of until somebody brought it up. So, I mean, the amount of cash and prizes that we gave out last year was unparalleled in anything that any other derby around here had ever done. And not a single person last year brought up anything that they were unhappy with what they got, or they thought it should have been more, or anything like that. So again, with the prizes, Oh, Rumble Seat, I love you, my friend. I do. I was so I saw Bob last year at the award ceremony, and I ran over, and I'll tell you, it was emotional, and it was meaningful for me. And Bob is a good man, and he's funny. And I gave him a big hug, and I brought him right over in front and got him a chair, and he just said, so Bob was unhappy. Rumble Seat was unhappy that he didn't get what he wanted last year, which was a dance with my wife. So that I'm okay with. I don't mind if Bob goes home unhappy with not getting that. But nobody else did. Nobody else did. And I'm not making that up. You go ask anybody that placed last year and ask them if they were happy with what they got. First place got $3,000+. He got, God, I don't even remember what else we gave him. A Dakota Lithium battery pack, which was worth $400 or $500 in a trophy, and that was on a $25 entry fee. So,
his wife placed too.
Yeah, and the guy that won, his wife placed. We had a couple husband-wife duos placed. The Pollocks both placed. Matter of fact, Deb beat her husband, which, you know, I don't mean like physically, but, you know, fishing wise. So let's see what else. So I talked about money. I talked about the splits. I talked about all the prizes weren't given out. Rules. Again, every criticism has some merit to it. You know, I'm not disparaging anybody. Again, I support your right to your First Amendment, and you can say whatever you want to say. I don't have to. I don't know. You have the right to say what you want to say, but people were talking about the rules. Now, I've been working on the rules because it's different this year than it was last year. And this year we have the addition of the virtual portion. So any angler with an approved bump board, and what I mean by approved is it's got to have a right angle on one end, and it has to be commercially bought. Okay. We're measuring to the 1/4 of an inch. It used to be in the old days, it was the 1/8 of an inch, and that's not the case anymore because all your modern bump boards only go to a 1/4. They don't go to an 1/8. So we're going to a 1/4. Tiebreaker is when that fish was entered. We're not doing anything with weight or girth anymore because that is where you find cheating the most in any derby or tournament. Is we've all seen the video in the stuff now of all these fish that have been stuffed with whatever and made bigger. We don't do that. The Lions Club always did length. We're only doing length. The tiebreaker is when that fish was entered. Period. It's simple. It's straightforward. But the rules have been evolving because I have to account for some of these different variables. And I got called out last night, and I don't know who made whoever was calling me out the the rules committee police, but they kept saying, wow, the rules should be set in stone before you start selling tickets. Okay. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're wrong. I didn't get it. I was doing 17 other things. And so I sat down last night and this morning early, and I updated the rules on the website. But I'm not going to tell you that there's not more rules that may still have to be adjusted between now and then, because I'm the one thinking of it and trying to cover every base so everybody feels good. I want all of my anglers and all my participants to feel good. Okay. Like they are in something that is legitimate and that they have an honest chance to be a part of. And I've said it before. If I find anyone, if through lie detector, through actual evidentiary proof of fraud, of cheating, of wrongdoing, I will spare no expense to prosecute. At the very least, I will make sure that you never fish another walleye derby from under Walleye Fest sanctioned derby again, ever. I can tell you that right now. Cheating will not be tolerated. Now, somebody making an anonymous phone call to me like last year, that doesn't count. There's nothing I can do about that, and I don't know if you got bad blood with somebody and you're trying to turn them in. If you have evidence, then you bring that evidence forward. If you don't, then there's nothing we can do about it unless they get caught at the lie detector portion of the event. So that's the rules. And again, I will say that the rules could still possibly change. And if that is a make or break for you out there, I can't lie to you and say that it's not, that there's no possibility it'll change again. They will be set in stone before the derby starts. And maybe I'll go back over them Friday night live from the kickoff party or something. I don't know, but or maybe I'll just do one of these every night and we'll talk about this stuff. But the rules are still fluid. It's an organic thing, and we're still figuring it out. I wish I had a better answer for that, and maybe the answer is I should have started earlier, but we're here. It is what it is. So Rumble Seat, let's read this one. Then I'm going to go back and read through people's comments, and then we can talk a little more. Rumble Seat. So if I'm out in my boat and catch a 13-inch walleye, which would be my personal best, do I take a picture and send it to someone? Please explain that. Why are there measuring stations? All right. So why are there measuring stations? Because if we didn't have measuring stations that people could bring their fish to, then that would mean everybody or every boat or everybody would have to have access to a measuring device, a bump board. And I'll be honest with you, I mean, a good bump board is anywhere from $30 to $50. And I didn't want to force my customers into spending that money. And so I was worried about what people are spending. And so I said, well, for this year, maybe for the next couple of years, maybe forever, I don't know, we're going to have the option of going to a measuring station around the lake, which is why I moved the measuring stations from inland places like tackle shops and stuff like that to on the water facilities where somebody could come in and get their fish entered quickly. And then if they want to release it, they're right there. Which brings me to another topic, the catch and release portion of the event. The Derby, the Walleye Fest Derby. I'm doing this because I'm Walleye Fest. I no longer require you, the angler, to kill these big fish, to enter them or to keep them for verification or anything else like that. Now, what you do with your fish legally in accordance with New York state law and how they set up the limits and sizes and all that, that is totally up to you. It's your fish. But for me, for Walleye Fest, you do not have to kill it. So the measuring stations are there if you don't have access to a bump board. If you have a bump board on your boat, on the boat you're fishing on, you can enter all of your fish virtually. It's the same process. If you bring your fish to a measuring station, they are going to ask for your username, which all of you have gotten. All of you have entered that username into the website and you're on your dashboard. The dashboard is your home inside Walleye Fest. Okay. Every fish you enter, the picture will be saved in your dashboard. Every board that you're in, all the information you need. Steven, I'm going to get to your comment. I just saw it come across in a second. I'll get to you in a second. Oh, shit. Where was I? All your information for you in the Derby is in your dashboard. All right. So if you bring a fish into the measuring station and the person running the measuring station is going to say, okay, what's your username? And they're going to log in to your dashboard and they're going to take the picture in your dashboard. And the two of you are going to agree on the length as it sits on the board during the picture. Click. No different than if you were doing it remotely, virtually in your own boat. Okay. And so when you do that, again, I'll get I'm sorry. I keep looking at the comments and then I lose my track. Whether you bring your fish to the measuring station or you do it virtually, it goes through your dashboard. That's where you take the picture. That's where you enter that picture. That's how it all works. That's why the dashboard is important. That's your personal dashboard. Okay. So no one else can use your fish. No one else can enter it. No one else can say, oh, I'm so-and-so. That's how we verify it, because only you know your username and only you can get into your dashboard. All right. Because you've already done the verification with email and all that stuff, and it's all set. So that's the secure portion of it. Other of these third-party apps, they give you some sort of a alphanumeric designator that a lot of times people will put on their hand because they hold the fish. You have to hold the fish with your left hand and then take the picture with your right. And so when you do that, you see the designator on your hand or on the piece of paper or whatever. And that's how the tournament official knows that it's you. And then you get a time and date stamp and a geo tag and all that fun stuff. So that's the secure part. And Bob, I will say, I have more. Aaron, it may be in the website, but is there more than one picture to be taken per fish? No, it's one picture. And so, and also too, when you enter that fish, it's going to ask you a few bits of information. One of which is, what is the length of the fish? So the angler will tell us, I'm submitting this picture and this fish is 21 3/4 inches long. And we're going to look at that because it's rounded to the nearest 1/4 of an inch. So not necessarily rounded up, it's to the nearest. So if your fish is 24 5/8, it's rounding to the nearest 1/4, which would be, well, no. Yeah, it's the nearest 1/4. So if it was just shy of 5/8, it would go to the half. If it was 5/8 or more, it would go to the 3/4. That's the rounding process. But the angler tells us the length of the fish, and then we verify it. We're not making up the length. We're going by what you're telling us, and we will show you exactly how to measure them. And there's only one way. And I don't want to say it yet, but that will all be discussed between now and Derby time. We'll do it for everybody. There'll be a video on the website showing exactly how we measure fish. It's mouth closed, tail pinched, which is the way they always did it. So that's just the way we're doing it. But that is the best way to do for walleyes, and that way it's equal for everybody. And when you take that picture, you will see that mouth is closed, bumped up against the bump board, and with that left hand, you're pinching that tail down, and you're getting whichever one is the longest. So, all right. Stephen Conley asked a question that I don't know the answer to. And so I'm writing it down right now. And Stephen says, I thought culling walleye on an idle lake was illegal. Bringing a fish into weigh and then releasing is culling, correct? I'm going to have to find that out, Stephen, because my first thought is no. Fat people rock. I won't buy a ticket until you lock the rules in. Well, the rules are locked in. I just can't tell you that they're not going to change. So, Stephen, I believe the answer to your question is no. Bringing a fish into weigh and then releasing is culling, correct? I got to find that out. I'm writing it down, so give me 1 second. Okay. I'll find that out. So I'm going to scroll back up to the top here, and I'm going to go down through everybody real quick. Paul, Keith, Adrian White, Paul Messina, I already read that one. Merlin, I read that one. Rumble Seed, I read that one. Let's see. Fat people rock. Everyone better be out on opening night. It's Walleye Wednesday. Yeah, that's the first night of the Walleye Wednesday Derby group. Mike Urema made it back from Ohio. Aaron Lussier, looking like low 60s, chances of rain all weekend, winds west northwest so far. I'll take 60s, and chances of rain, I'll take that too. Pike Master, good evening. Tim Graver, hi Matt, I put the boat and dock in this weekend. I'm ready for Walleye Fest. Can't wait. Right on, brother. Aaron Lussier, no, never have given that impression. People just have nothing. Oh, yeah, I'd want to read that. Mark Webb from Page, Arizona. Thanks, Mark, for answering my text the other day. I was able to update the website while in your absence while you're on vacation. Tammy Hoover, good evening. Julia George, thank you. Doing a great job. Michael Hoover, hi all. Pike Master, we the people. Scott Tagata, is there an instructional video for the online entry thing? Yes, right on the homepage of the Derby. I walk you through it in 5 pictures, 3 easy steps. And it really is simple. Again, part of the reason why we had to do a multiple step vetting process of people is because last year we had a number of people tell me that they didn't have their own email address and they didn't know how to use computers or anything. And so again, I don't want to leave anybody out. So in order for us to allow someone to buy multiple tickets for other people, then we had to have it to where there was another way to authenticate who these people were. And so that way you just didn't have one person buying 10 chances with different names on them, and then he would just put a fish wherever, listen, in the coming years, if everyone says to me, everybody has an email address, then it's a one-stop shop. You just put your email address in, and that's your authenticator, because it's exclusive to just you. So this year we did it with usernames, but in order to get your username, it's a two-step process to verify. And that's so the Derby has integrity, and you all know that it's secure, and we have a way of controlling who's what. So Scott, there is an instructional video right on the homepage. You just scroll down a little bit and it says right there. Can't miss it. Mike Fabian, I think you're doing a good job with all the running and calling the people complaining. Calling the people complaining, what do you guys are doing? Kudos. Thanks, Mike. Fat People Rock, 50% payback per 1,000 entries. It's 50% no matter how many entries. But if you get to 1,000, then 1,000 is equal to 12.5 in payout. But if it's 300, it's still 50% of that. Whatever the number is, it's 50% of that. Tammy, do you think some of these complaints could be scammers just being jerks? No, I know most of the people. So no, I don't think so. Dad Lance, hello. Bob Bender, Matt, I think you're doing a great job with the Derby, and your videos don't let them get you down. I'm not, Bob. Thank you though. I'm not. I'm doing me, I'm doing me, and I'm doing what I think is the right thing here. If it works, it does. If it doesn't, then next year I go to the drawing board again. It's somewhere in there is the right formula. I thought this was it. It still might be. And I'm going to tell you, whoever fishes the Derby this year, it's going to be an outstanding time. It is going to be fantastic. And we have tons of great prizes to go along with the cash. And we got the party Friday night, whether you come to the pier or whether you want to go over and watch some of the races for a discounted price. However you do it. And then we'll have some stuff going on Sunday from noon to 6 at Bruton Speedway before we get into the full-blown awards ceremony. So I hope everybody comes out. Certainly, if you're a winner, I hope you come out. I haven't said publicly that all winners have to be present to win. I'd like to. I just don't know. I don't know about that right at the moment. I would hope that if you're somebody that's in the prize money, that you will come and share in the excitement with everybody. Nikolai, hey, I'm back. Don Terry, I'm just glad we have a Derby. Thanks, Matt, to you and your partners. This is a big undertaking and a tremendous amount of work. Thanks, Don. I'm glad we have it too. I'm very glad. Larry Melnick, hello, Matt. I think you and all who are involved did an excellent job. Thank you very much. Scott Tagata, remember, this would be over without the hard work, time, and dedication to the fishing community that this group of guys puts in. It's not just a Derby anymore. It's not. And I want to make it fantastic and great. And yes, I said to everybody that I was going to keep the spirit of the Lions Club Derby alive. I never said that I was going to be the Lions Club, because I'm not. I'm not. But it's going to stay on opening weekend, and the main Derby is going to stay the way it is. Like they always did it. I don't know how, Fat People Rock, are you taking a cut from the other categories as well? If so, just list the percentage so people can make the decision if it's worth it to them or not. I did. And like we discussed earlier, it's 60-40. It's right on the homepage of the website. It's right there. I'm not trying to hide it. I don't try to hide anything. Aaron, I'm not reading that comment. Larry Melnick, I don't think it matters as long as the rules are made before the contest starts. Again, the rules, I'm going to take some of the heat on the rules. It's been an ongoing thing with me, writing them, working on them, making sure they're right. I feel pretty good about the rules now and how they are. I'm sure that I've got a couple things I got to add. And I'm sorry for that. I understand that the rules, people would think that the rules would want to be set beforehand. I started running out of time this year, so I'll take some of that. No problem. I'll take some of that. Stephen Conley, I'm going to get back to your question. Hook and Eyes, I want to publicly apologize for the shenanigans yesterday. I should have never argued publicly with the person I was arguing with. That was no place for that. Sorry. Okay. It may be in the website, but is there more than one picture to be taken per fish? I answered that already. No, only one. Okay, I've seen them take more than one. I don't believe there's going to be more than one. I have it set right now as only one. Fat People Rock, I won't buy a ticket until you lock the rules in. Again, I understand. I as soon as I'm 100% sure that they're not going to change, I'll make the announcement. Carl Lamana, how can you prevent people not in the tournament giving fish to people that are? I can't prevent that, Carl, but the lie detector test will catch that. So that's my backup for that. Here, Carl, it's the lie detector test. Yeah. Troy, are you fishing nighttime, Matt, during Walleye Fest? Me personally, Troy, or everybody? Because the Derby starts at 12:01 a.m. Saturday morning, and it runs all the way through consecutively, continuously until noon on Sunday afternoon. So are you fishing at night? Yeah, you can fish at night. Yes, the answer to that is yes, you can fish at night. Will I be fishing in? Excuse me. I have bought my tickets. I'm not fishing the Derby whatsoever. I may be out there in my boat, taking video and driving around and seeing people, but I will not be fishing, even though I am entered. So if the fish is precisely 21 5/8, what is the measurement to be agreed upon? It will go up to the nearest 3/4 from there. Because that directly on that 1/8 inch line in between the quarter will bump it to the next highest. Anything less than that 1/8 inch in between the quarter will bring it down to the previous quarter. Ted C, can I buy tickets Sunday 4/28 and where? You can buy them anytime you want online at www.walleyefest.com. Go to the Derby tickets tab and it'll walk you through right there. All tickets are sold online. There is no paper tickets sold anywhere. Everything is done online. For accounting purposes, for tax purposes, everything has to be that way. Do we need a boater certificate next year? I don't know yet. I don't know what that's going to be. I don't know if I have any say over that. I would assume that I will have no interest in whether people do or don't. That's up to them. If they choose to go out and operate their boat and they're not properly certified, that's up to them, not me. Rumble seat. If you ever ran anything where no one complained, it would be the first time in history. And again, that's what's really sunk into me today, Bob. Is I saw something on PBS a couple weeks ago about an election. I don't even know when it was. It was Warren G. Harding and somebody else, and it was 49-51. Just like it is nowadays, just like it's been forever. You can't please everyone, so you got to please yourself. And it's all right now. I learned my lesson well. You can't please everyone, so you got to please yourself. Troy said, "Are you?" He meant me. No, I'm not. He's asking if I was going to fish at night. No. Not in any kind of official capacity. Like I say, even if I caught a big one, I wouldn't enter it because that's not the place for me. As the owner, as the promoter, as the head official, that would be a conflict that I would never do. It's funny. This is a derby that I wanted to fish in. This is a derby. I'm creating a derby that I want to fish in, and I can't fish in it. This is the kind of format that I've always thought to myself, this would be outstanding. This would be great. I'd love to do this. How come somebody doesn't make something like this? I got tired of saying that, and I just made it myself. And we'll see how it goes. 55 minutes. I've been ranting and raving. All right. I'm going to do two more things here, so bear with me. So just before we came on, I'm gonna do a rundown. Now, I'm gonna do a rundown of how many people are signed up in each of the leaderboards. And you can go on, every single one of you can go on your dashboard, and in the upper right-hand corner, it says leaderboards. And when you go click on that, it'll show you a box for all 13 of those leaderboards. And every one you click on at the bottom, it'll tell you how many entries are in each. Scott says he was talking about the fish video entry, not the tickets. No, I don't have that one yet. That one, we're working on that one right now. It's being produced as we speak. I would think it should be out by the weekend, would be my guess. Get to you in a second, Mike. So I'm going to go through. Everybody can look and see in their dashboard how many people are entered into each leaderboard. So right now, number one is the main leaderboard. That has 310 people entered in it so far. Number two is women's. That has 5 people in it. Number 3 is kayak. That has 2 people. The charter leaderboard, number 4, has 7. The first responders military board, the memorial board, number 5, has 13. Right now, the shore board has 0. And I'll be honest with you, I thought the shore board was going to be, and maybe it still will be, I thought there was a lot of people out there that are going to fish from shore that once they realize they don't have to have a boat to compete, that they would do it. That's at 0 right now. I'm going to keep an eye on that because I really thought that was going to have some traction. The best 5 has 23 people signed up. Most keepers has 10. That's leaderboard number 8. Leaderboard number 9, yellow perch, 43. That's our highest right now of any of the optional leaderboards, 43. Makes perfect sense to me. Again, we catch these other fish as a bycatch while we're out there walleye fishing. Why not have Walleye Wednesday does a lunker perch every week? Why wouldn't we do that during this derby? So I thought that made perfect sense to me. So 43 people have signed up for the yellow perch leaderboard. 19 have signed up for the number 10, the panfish leaderboard. Now in the youth last year, we had 136 kids participate. I really want to see this youth grow. I added 2 more divisions for the youth, thinking what little kid doesn't want to try and catch a perch or a panfish. But right now for youth walleye, we have 10. Youth perch, we have 3. And youth panfish, we have 1. So that was my numbers before I went live today. Okay, Scott said, I was talking about the video fish entry, not the tickets. Yes, we're working on that. And Mike said, Mike Urema said, if you're willing to overlook the need for a boater certificate, are you ready to overlook a child not wearing a life jacket or perhaps fishing from an unregistered boat or even without a license? Mike, I don't know how I see your follow-up question. One of the polygraph questions has to be, did you follow all of the New York State rules to catch this fish? We're talking about something for next year. I don't know. I don't know legally. I'd have to discuss that with my lawyer. What we can require people to provide as proof to fish in the Derby. I don't even know if I have the legal right to ask somebody to see their fishing license. So I don't know about that. Don Terry, don't forget the Oneida Lake Association meeting is this Wednesday. Doors open at 6 p.m. Meeting starts at 7. Millard Hawk School near Central Square. Please support them. Bill Gilbert. Fat People Rock. Can you set a hard deadline to when you won't change the rules anymore? Yeah. By the end of the week, I'll know that because I plan on, I've got it up now. I'm good with where it sits. I'll spend the next 3 or 4 days this week really combing over other derbies and whatnot and see if there's anything else that I want to glean from another operation that would go in our rules. But yes, I will commit to updating everybody by the end of the week. How about that? What is the cutoff age for the youth division? 15. 15. If you're 15, you're in the youth division, unless there's a spot in the sign up to where you can, if a parent has to sign up a youth anyway, if they're under 16, which would be 15 and under. You could be 15 in 363 days. But even if your birthday is the weekend of the Derby, May 4th or May 5th, ticket sales end on May 3rd. So on May 3rd, when it ends, if you're still 15 years old and you're not 16 yet, you're a youth. Now, we have a place in there for the adult that signs the youth up to give that youth permission to participate with the adults, which I have no problem with. But without that parental permission, you're in the youth category. Merlin, I think it could be enforced on a safety basis for other participants. I got mine this year as I qualified this year. Rumbleseat's wife is a saint. That's all I can say. From what I know of this man in the last couple of years, she has to be a saint. Either that or death. I know. He loves her. Rumbleseat says, is it okay if I identify as a 13-year-old girl fishing from a kayak? It's okay right up until the lie detector proves that that's not the case. Like the show, like a Maury Povich show. Yeah, you are not the father. All right. What else do we have? I don't know. If you guys still want to hang out for a few minutes, well, she's better than nothing. Yeah. He doesn't mean that. He's just trying to get a rise out of everybody. Does everybody want to talk about fishing for a few minutes instead of Walleye Fest? Do we have any more questions on Walleye Fest? Is there anything else I can answer? I got to figure out which way that's going. Nope. Where is it going? I don't know. Is there any other questions about Walleye Fest at all? All answers, all questions. Yes, where are the fish lately? I don't know. I haven't been on Oneida. This is the longest I've not been out on Oneida Lake. I caught one off my dock the other day. Scott says, what do you put in for fishing type? There is no spot for boat. No, there isn't. And you put in mixed if you're, so it says shore only, charter only, kayak only, or mixed. Okay. So that question is for, that's the qualifying question. If you can get into the kayak board, the shore board, or the charter customer board, because you can only get into those boards if that's the only way you're fishing. So if you went out in a kayak one day and you went out in a boat the next day, you can't then be entered into the kayak board because your fish, when you enter it, will go to that, and you weren't fishing in a kayak. You were fishing one day in a kayak and one day in a boat. So then you put mixed. So most everybody, unless you're getting into one of those specialty leaderboards, you're going to say mixed, and then that doesn't even give you the option to buy one of those. If you say shore only, that means you're fishing from shore only for 36 hours. Same with kayak, same with the charter customer. Now, again, with the charter customer, let's say that you're on the boat with Tony Buffa and you got a charter booked with him for Saturday, okay? And that's the only day you can get out and go fishing. You enter into the charter customer board, and you don't fish with him on Sunday, and you don't fish with anybody else on Sunday in any other way, you can get into the charter only board. Okay. Same thing with a kayak. If you go out and you fish in your kayak both days and you only fish from your kayak, and all the fish you enter are only from your kayak, then you can get into the kayak only board. Anything else, any combination of those goes to mixed, and then you don't get the chance to buy any of those three boards because you answered the question as mixed. Okay. Well, I guess let's wrap it up then. We've been talking for an hour. There'll be another live this week. All right, this is a good question to end it on. Bob says, I have my regular Derby ticket already. However, I might want to buy into the Veterans Board. How do I do that now? So, Bob, you've already got your ticket and you've already went into the dashboard. That's your verification. You're in your dashboard with your username. Once you get in there, then that's where you can go down, scroll down to the bottom of your dashboard, and it'll show you what leaderboard you're eligible for. And so that's how you buy it. And that's where you buy it. And how you answer your questions is what leaderboards show up for you. So when you answered that question, are you a veteran? Yes or no? If you answered no, you're not going to have a chance to buy the military veteran first responder leaderboard. That's what that does. And that's where you buy everything. We have links to bump boards in there that you can purchase at a discount. But the dashboard, everybody needs to be familiar with their dashboard because that is going to be used a lot. That is your home during the Derby. Sorry, those things just started itching like crazy. My wife's giving me the wrap it up symbol. All right, that'll do it for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. Thank you all for your support. Thank you all for your participation. It's going to be a fantastic Derby. I couldn't be more excited. I would love everybody to get into it. If you don't, you don't. I'm okay with that. You have choices. I'm okay with that. I want to see as many people as possible participating and having fun. I hope to see everybody on Friday night at the kickoff party. We had such a great turnout last year, and it was a lot of fun. So let's do it all again. Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening. And as always, keep your tip up.